Kentucky has been the center of heroic stories over the years, and this is certainly one for the history books. The presence of elk across the countryside.
What's up, guys? Joe, I just wanted to double check. There's an elk running around there with tags in it, but no collar. Is that a catchable or not? Any elk you see out there is catchable. You can catch them however you find them. This is purely for translocation stuff.
Getting our gear out, so hopefully we can start catching elk soon.
Get everything ready before everything gets going. We got some blood tubes, got some ear tags, collect some hair, vital data from our elk.
Write down some of the basic info onto the data sheets. That way it saves a little time whenever the elk do come in.
Yeah.
And then we got a temperature probable.
There are so many pieces to keep track of at the same time that it's just tons of wheels turning at the same time.
The coal mines of southeast Kentucky make up a large portion of the Kentucky Elk Zone. This is where crews from Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, University of Kentucky, and Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation volunteers have come to help expand the landscape of Kentucky elk.
Let me know when they're coming, that way I can get down there with the drug.
And it's me and the fuel truck guy who's going to help unload them.
10-4, make sure you know to stay on this side.
This cold January morning is ideal for an elk capture, keeping the elk cool during the process.
Yeti, just to go to that one bag, yeah?
The helicopter crew prepares for liftoff, while others on the ground wait for the first elk to arrive.
Last out a little bit, but anyway.
That moment will mark the beginning of another historic Kentucky event. Once in the air, the goal is simple. Find elk, then capture. The recent snowfall will aid in spotting elk, but the steep, heavily wooded Southern Appalachian mountain range still gives these elk the advantage. Once netted, the crew works quickly to safely prepare this cow for the short trip back, taking steps to eliminate all undue stress to the elk.
First thing, just get a blindfold. Keeps him calm. And then,
okay.
Put your knee on your neck there. Yeah, there, like that. If you're on your own, just get one hobble on right there.
What for that?
Corporate, then she's safe.
Okay.
And you can
We're going to do that now, or do you want to process her quickly?
No, there's two of us here, so we should be fine.
Ah, so.
Securely harnessed and attached, her final destination at this point is still unknown. She will either be collared and released back into this area as a part of an ongoing cow-calf survival study, or relocated to start a new herd on the Daniel Boone National Forest, McCreary County. Either way, her significance as elk number 1 is historical.
try and get that other big cow or one of the calves.
All right, this animal's gonna go to McQuarrie County. John Hass.
The stock trailer, located away from the noise of the drop zone, will be used to hold elk, as well as transport.
You're in charge of the head. Ultimately, her head needs to be up in that corner.
Even if she is the only elk captured today, the 2-hour trip will be made to her new home.
And elk are really hardy animals, so they can take a lot, as we've seen over the years, catching elk and bringing them here. Minimal time touching those animals, and then stay quiet around them to keep that stress level down. Get them, in and out as fast as possible.
Blood samples, hair samples, ear tags, and GPS radio collars will provide crucial information to the health and size of current and future herds.
You can unbuckle, but just keep her legs together. And when somebody goes 1, 2, 3, and you pull that strap, you'll go off the back door, and he'll go out behind you. Just do the counter. 1, 2, 3. That was fun.
We've got 4.1 million acres in the elk zone in Kentucky.
What I'm going to want you to do is basically...
And there's plenty of that doesn't have elk.
All ready to move? Go!
Put them on the Daniel Boone National Forest, which is public land that's going to be public forever, to establish a huntable elk herd over there.
Mature cows that are captured are tested for pregnancy before a release location is determined.
She's likely with a calf, so we were going to release her back on this site with a GPS collar to try to just enhance data with regards to adult and calf survival.
And just make sure they're healthy while we're doing anesthesia, or if we have to work them up and put collars on them, and then, collecting, samples while we got them. I mean, that's the other important thing is when you have an animal in hand, there's valuable data there.
So much of the Southern Appalachians is closed canopy forest, and I'm talking over 90% closed canopy. And elk, being more of a grazer, but also a browser, needs this open field meadow habitat, much that you'd consider out west. We first put elk here in Kentucky and started in 1997. The mine habitat that they were put on was tremendous, and those populations flourished. And it's interesting because the habitat around us was often so good that the elk didn't leave. So we have vast areas of open quality elk habitat that really haven't been tapped yet by elk. So what projects like this do, gives them a little push.
Elk continue in at a steady rate. But this process is far from over.
Probably catch 50 to 75 elk in the next 8 to 10 days. What is going on out west doesn't necessarily equal up to what we're seeing here. We don't have predators. Our elk aren't migrating. They're not living in 3 feet of snow every winter. So we've got to essentially get the research and learn ourselves.
We made a concerted effort to get volunteers, members, to come out and assist us with the hands-on field work.
Getting them spread out and doing good things for the help.
It's pretty awesome. Conservation in action.
Awesome.
It should be important to everybody in the state because that's part of what is Kentucky. They were here before we got here. We need to encourage that population increase so we can all experience that in the future.
2 bull boards in the back of that white F-250 if you have to go in.
Copy.
The current plan is to get 1 more male. We start out with a decent sex ratio, and then we'll move to the next property.
Hugely beneficial. I mean, like 2/3 of the available public property in eastern Kentucky lies in those counties without elk.
With the quota met for this property, this bull will be the last of the day, achieving the desired bull-cow ratio for the day 1 relocation. Antlers are removed immediately for the safety of the crew and elk during the transport process.
Pretty hard to describe, and you think about what it'll be in 6, 8, 10 years down the road after they continue to be protected, have some nice quality hunting opportunities, and chasing elk in the big mountains in the Forest Service.
When you think about what we're doing here, physically moving elk to new locations to expand their range, it doesn't get any more RMEF than that.
The 2-hour drive to the Daniel Boone National Forest marks what could be the final phase of the Kentucky Elk Restoration Program that started 25 years earlier.
I think there are endless possibilities. Your average person will have an opportunity to come out here and possibly someday hunt elk, but certainly come here to view elk.
We really want to work with the public to make sure that they have ownership in the management of these resources.
RMEF has such a stronghold in the West, and rightfully so. We've done so much amazing work. But that opportunity is just as great here in the East. Looking down the road long term, man, one of the greatest goals I could see us accomplishing would be having this cohesive, contiguous Southern Appalachian elk herd. And that would be something noteworthy for the history books.
Well, I can tell you this, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife has a lot of great partners, and none better than the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation.
Built this thing from the ground up out of nothing. No flight plan, no manual to be found. You and I, we're driving in the dark without headlights, trying to find our way. It's hard to tell him where we'll be the coming days, but I will be there with you. I'll be here with you.
Next area, you're gonna back up.